Okay, folks, let's get this started. Incorrigible tripod here. All right, we're not going to run it backwards. So run it backwards, it gets a lot smaller. Oh, there you go. The picture's a lot smaller. We'll run it backwards. All right, let's move these things out of the way here and see if we can find where we left off this morning. And I believe we were doing the black lining on this thing, including doing it on the turret. So that's what we're going to continue. And then we got 334 also to do the same way. And I can X this out. All right, so we're going to use Nuln Oil. Yeah, this is the picture quality it needs to be. It just has to be, it's just reversed. If I use the other side, it's too far away. So, all right, let's get a little bit of this guy's done. Let's get your ass out of here. Get on out of here. Get some of this out here so we're not pulling from the pot every time. And we just have a few bolts to do here at the top. What's up, Reese? What am I doing? I'm baking cookies. We're detailing some of these little tanks there. One of the many steps that they have. So this part, we're just adding a dark wash around all these nooks and crannies so that they'll stand up better. Now, we got some that are complete. This is what they'll end up looking like. Tank-shaped cookies. There's the people that do cakes. You guys probably already know this because they got that, what is it, that Cake Boss? Or I don't watch that show, but there's some people that are really creative when it comes to, cakes and stuff. And then you go and eat it and it's gone. Like, no. Now that would be, that'd be a waste, big time. So talented. Nah, I've just been doing this for 40 years. 40 years? Yeah, about 40 years. Well, not at this level. I mean, my stuff used to suck. Everybody who said, "Oh, my stuff was always great." Nah, when you were a kid, your stuff sucked. You just got to learn from each other, Like the first time Tiger Woods ever hit a golf ball, he sucked. Right? You got to be realistic. just takes perseverance and, oh, you subbed. Awesome. That's the best thing you guys can do, man. I really appreciate that. It costs you nothing. And maybe somebody that really needs this will see it. The algorithm, man, the algorithm. So I got notified today that something cool is coming up next weekend. I wish it was this weekend, but it's next weekend. And they're going to have a reenactment with tanks in 1-to-1 scale. And I'm planning on going, and I'm going to film it. So if you guys want to see that, bunch of World War II tanks. I think it's American and German tanks. So we'll see. We'll go there and I'll bring my paints and make sure they got the stuff painted in the right color. And then I'm going to tell them, look, pal, you restored this thing, but you painted it the wrong color. You should watch my stuff on my channel, not be a clown. No, I'm not doing that. But I am planning on going. So I don't think I can do it live there. It's going to be too much background noise, but we will shoot a video out there. And I also found out that there's an author who I haven't read his books, but there's an author that's going to be there. Not that I'm a groupie or anything, like want him to sign a copy of it. You can't really sign a copy of a book that's on Audible, you know? But he's going to be there that does military books. So we'll see. I just found out about that today. So, and it's about 2 hours away. It's nothing crazy. So we'll plan on shooting a video out there, and should be fun. I have a feeling there's going to be a lot of background noise. It's supposed to do live fires and everything. I mean, you know, not with a real charge, you know, not going to blow things up, but there's a guy that had a M18 Hellcat. I don't know if you guys know what that is. He had one of these. He had one of these a couple years ago. Out in Washington State, I believe. Where's my Hellcat at? U.S. tank destroyer. You had one of these. And 1-to-1 scale. It was a real one. And he'd go to these shows and he'd fire it. And I think he packed his own ammo. Like, obviously, there's no bullet end to it. It's just the powder end. And I think he had a malfunction and got killed. Like, oops. I mean, that's a lot of, you know, powder or whatever. But he had one of these out in Washington State. It was like 2 or 3 years ago. I hope it's not too loud. I'll bring my hearing protection for when I go to the range. Can you show you one of you first one, please? Can I show me one of my first one, please? Well, I've got some that I finished here, but if you're looking for something I did a long time ago, no, I don't have any of that stuff. I mean, I got rid of my stuff that's I'm not really proud of a long time ago. Oh, I'll do better than that. I got to get back to this in a second, but here you go. Let's flip this thing around. Okay, this is where they all hang out at. And I got a shit ton, literally. So over here we got all the early war Germans. This is all World War II stuff. So these are all in gray. Panzer gray. And then we got the later war Germans that have the yellow. Not desert, but the yellow. They went to that. And then we got more Germans. Well, I better be good at this stuff. I spent a shitload of time on it. Panthers. Armored cars in the back. A Martyr. Self-propelled guns. And then the desert stuff here, here's the British desert stuff. Hey, what's that damn German half-track doing here? You shouldn't be here. Interloper! Here's my desert rats. There's the British for the desert, and here's the Germans for the desert. And then over on this side, about my Americans. Well, we got some buildings up here too. Building some shell holes and stuff that are made. More buildings. Little French like mansion type thing that got blown to hell. That's all hand painted. That's actually hand painted with craft paint. So are the buildings. You gotta use a lot of paint, so you might as well use paint that's really cheap. There's some commandeered cars that the French resistance fighters used. A couple Jeeps. That's the spot where the Hellcat came from. Let me go ahead and put it back while I'm thinking about it. How do I have time? I don't watch TV. Here's all the Shermans. Shermans galore. I don't know. I got about 10 of them. Half tracks. These are toys basically. These are repainted toys made by Corgi. You know, this stuff is only done over 2 years. So yeah, I've been pretty busy the last 2 years. Here's all the Soviets, all the Russians. T-34s galore. Oh, there's a BT-7 in there, sneaking its way in there. Oh, yeah, T-34-85. Yep. Here's more Soviet tanks. These are the Soviet heavy tanks. Right, little guy in there back there too. Assault guns. They're in the back row. More Soviets. A couple JS2s in the front. Light tanks there. Trucks galore. More light tanks. Got some snow T-34s. Poor Germans. Yeah, I actually got more Soviets than I do Germans. It's close. The thing is that, you know, you've got these Germans and then you've got these Germans, and you know you don't really use them all together. So this is stuff I have. Like, I mean, I really have never used like a tiger in a game. It's just kind of a unique type of thing to have. And then what do we got there? We got some Brits. This is actually a pre-painted model. I don't know what I'm going to do with this. I got this thing a long time ago. This is a die-cast model, and this is how it came. And it's actually pretty nice. I'm probably not going to repaint it. I'm probably just going to go ahead and do like a dark wash in some of the places so it looks more like the stuff that I'm doing, and add some rust and stuff to it and call it a day. Because like this is pre-painted, but it doesn't look as good as the stuff I do, you know? All right, so, and who's down here? The Brits, the Brits in Normandy Brits. Because I got the desert Brits over there as well. Oh, look, there's a Stegosaurus peeking back there. This is kind of odds and ends down here. Japanese tank. I have a base for them. I just haven't. It's not glued down. And infantry, I really like doing the infantry. These are on US pennies with a magnet on the bottom. So you can put them on your refrigerator if you want to. If you put them on a metal tray and you have to carry them from one place to another, they don't fall apart. So that's what I've got working on right now is the tanks. I don't know, I got 150 of them, probably more than 150. Plus I've got, you know, these are the Panzer 38s that I'm working on. I got a bunch of desert vehicles over here. Half tracks, they look like they're knocked down. They're not. They're just placed over there. We're working on these as well. Anyhow, lots of stuff to do. Yeah, I don't watch television. I watch very little television. Now, if I didn't surf on my phone, I'd get even more done, because we all do too much of that, right? But then if you didn't surf on your phone, maybe you wouldn't see this feed. So let's flip this back around. Okay. Any jets? No. No, maybe one day. No planes either. I got 2 planes I started on. I didn't finish them. Kind of bought them on a whim. P-40 and a Spitfire. So I got these 3 I want to get done. And then we're going to move on to something else. And we can go one of 2 different ways. Either I'm going to work on a wreck. Let's take a look at that. Let's take a look at that. Because I don't mind people asking me stuff. As long as I'm engaged. That's the important thing. Let's go look at my wrecks. So I got these models that were given to me by somebody who looks like their kid got a hold of them. Their kid got a hold of them and just destroyed them. And they weren't very well made to begin with. Let me see if I can find them here on the fly. And I'm going to make wrecks out of them. I have a couple of vehicles I turned into wrecks because there were missing parts. Here's a British armored car. And here's a German armored car. And honestly, I think they turned out better than I thought they were going to turn out. However, those weren't in horrible shape. What I'm going to show you, assuming I can find it here quickly, is in horrible shape. I keep hemming and hawing. I'm going to do something with them. I'm not going to do something with them. I'm going to do something with them. I'm not going to do something with them. Here they are. These are terrible. Yeah, this is actually, I got this from an estate sale, and like the turret wouldn't turn. It was missing parts. I'm like, let's wreck it, you know? So. And it looks better in person than the video. The video just doesn't capture all the subtleties of the color and stuff. Okay, I'm going to put these back so we don't have a mess on our hands. And then we're going to take a look at what shape these are in. I'm going to warn you, they're really bad. And that's what I plan on doing, making wrecks out of it. It's an objective. Okay? I'm glad you enjoy them. I like sharing this and hopefully motivating you guys to do something creative. It's a great hobby. You got to do something. You might as well do this. Okay. These were given to me. And you don't believe they're bad. Are you sitting down? Okay. So let me show you what this is supposed to look like first, okay? Let's pull out a Panther out here. You guys know anything about World War II tanks, you'll know what a Panther is. Okay? Really attractive looking tank. I actually like my German's gray better than this, but this was never a gray vehicle. This is kind of just a basic model of the Panther. All right. This is what, and I did not paint this. It's caked on. It's got dust. It's missing a gun barrel. The paint's on super thick. All kinds of things wrong with this thing. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to dust this thing off. I'm going to spray it black, which is what I start with. All of my things are sprayed black. And assuming I can find a barrel for it. I don't really want to spend good money on a barrel. But, and have it knocked out. So, that's one. What else do we have here? We have another Panther. Yeah, I basically went to a show and the guy's like, "Hey, take these, see if you can do something with them." I mean, there's all kinds of stuff wrong with them. Let me show you. Do you like cats or dogs? Do I have to choose one? Well, I don't have either one of them. I've had a bad I didn't grow up with either one of them. So now look at this. So here's what a Panther's supposed to look like, right? You got one wheel, you have the drive sprocket, which basically has teeth on it, and it drives the track, right? And the other one is what's called the idler. It's kind of smooth. And this one, the sprocket wheel's on the back, and it should be on the front. So I'm gonna have to rip that off, put it back here, take this one, glue this one back. So flip-flop them on this side too. This turret doesn't turn, so I can't make a working tank out of this. You got some guy, it's like, lean back is stuck on there in the hatch. We're gonna if I could find a way to get a barrel or something out of this thing, I'm gonna make something amazing. Yeah, you got this little block that's not supposed to be there. Well, it's not there anymore. It's supposed to be, it goes here on the side. There's a photo of a knocked out Panther missing its gun during the Battle of the Bulge. Is it? So I shouldn't keep that from that shouldn't stop me, Jeffrey. Hey, is this these aren't these are War Games quality models. Will this suffice, Jeffrey, or this is too this won't go? I need two barrels. I mean, it's terrible. You've got like this paint that's super thick on there, and I have hopes that I could do something with it. I could do something with that. It's going to take a little bit of effort. What else we got here? Oh, we got some stuff you're going to enjoy seeing, Jeffrey. Okay, this is probably, of all the junk, the best thing in here. And this is an Armor Fast M4A4. And the reason I know it's an M4A4 is because I have one. I have two, actually. And I found all the pieces to it. Now, this looks, somebody got mad on it and decided to put like look at the back of it here. I think they punched a screwdriver through it or tried to. So we'll have to fix that. Pop that back in. Be disrespecting a Sherman like that, man. But this should be able to go into action without a problem. And I had bought the, there's a set that goes with these of like extra sandbags. So I still have some left. So this will be okay. That's a U.S. Sherman. I don't know what the hell this is. This is all resin. It looks like, oh, look, it comes apart. All right, Jeffrey, who makes this? It looks like it's, whether it's Raventhorpe or somebody, I don't know. And I don't even know what vehicle this is. But it's not even, it doesn't even have the wheels, and it doesn't have, I don't know if it has a chassis or anything. I think there may be some wheels I can use in here, but this definitely looks like something that needs to be on the side of the road, taken out. Have to go have a great day. All right, man. Thanks for stopping by, man. What else we got here? We got a BP Cast JS2, which isn't junk, but I put it in the junk drawer. This is one that's actually mine, and I'm probably going to do it knocked out because it's really rough looking. It's really, really rough looking, even for a Soviet tank. This is white metal and heavy. I think this is a T-70. Again, I may make this knocked out, because I got 3 other T-70s and they look good. This thing's not going to look good. Or maybe I'll do this one in snow or something like that. That might be a good idea. Do this one in snow for one of the tank brigades counterattacking the 6th Panzer Division during Wintergewitter. Hint, hint, nudge, nudge, say no more. But I mean, it's painted, and like they didn't even take the flash off of here on the wheels and stuff. I'm definitely taking some before and after pictures on this thing, on some of these things. But that's a piece of shit. Oh my God, you made it work for something. What else is in here? This thing is actually not that bad. This is a T-34 that has this BP cast. BP cast is just not very good at all. And it's got some nice like track links and packs and stuff on here, but I don't have a barrel for the turret. And you know, the running gear, it's almost like I should use this hull, put the running gear from the Skytrek stuff, and replace the turret. I don't know. The back of this looks really... This might be a good candidate for... I mean, there's all kinds of like bubbles on things that don't exist. Gray resin, not Raventhorpe, make a good mud maroon trucker wreck. We got to do something with these things. I'm not going to throw them away. I mean, I don't want to, you know, spend 12 hours on them. But, you know, those 2 vehicles that I have knocked out, man, they look freaking great. You know, so I'm like, I bet I can make these things look pretty darn good. I'm pretty confident in what I can and can't do. And then we got a couple things in baggies here. We'll pull those things out in a second. I'm going to go ahead and put these things back in. Here's the barrel for the for the JS2. I got nothing to lose messing with this stuff, you know? I got nothing to lose. Might develop a new skill. Who knows? All right. Here is a matchbox Panzer II F. No barrel. No tracks. I could totally make that knocked out for the desert. It looks great compared to everything else. All this stuff was like in a big bag. So I like individually like, okay, all this stuff goes really, I was like an archaeologist or a paleontologist, like trying to like figure out what goes with what. Here's that T-34. All right, look at this beast. It's a King Kong. Now this thing will never ride again. King Kong will ride again. No, it won't. Not this one. Look how much dust and like lint and stuff is on this thing. Totally an objective to knock out. A knocked out objective, or just something on the side of the road, you know, something for ambiance. What else we got over here? A big old gun. That's broke, and it's got, what's this, a 155? Broke ass barrel. This thing's in terrible shape. Again, abandoned on the side of the road. It'll be on a stand. I got nothing to lose, man. What's this? The poor comet. Right? Is this? No, this is a Sherman. This is a Sherman. Looks like this is, if I had to guess, this is probably the SE. It's 1/72. This is an M4. This is an M4A1 cast hull. So like the tank, the ones that they used in at Alamein. Yeah, I don't know. I got some tracks. I got some running gear stuff on here. That thing's been through hell. Looks like a Revell rebox of Panzer II. The tracks have likely perished like a lot of the post-1980s Revell Matchbox kits. The original kits have stood up well. Yeah, I don't know. What we can do with that, but what's in here? Oh, these are like odd wheels and shit. Bunch of bogies here for one of the Shermans. An engine. That's one of those radial aircraft engine that goes inside of one of the Shermans. All right, now this bag also has things that I'm not too proud of. This is an elephant that I tried to strip the paint off of. I have this stuff that can strip the paint out of plastic. I don't have time. I don't have time to spend a day of my trying to get it. At the end of the day, it's still all going to be. Well, this is an elephant. Yeah, it's got the machine gun there in the front, under multiple layers of. Crap. And then we got a T-34-85 from BP Cast. The Woman Slayer. This is crap. I'm probably going to make this knocked out. I got lots of T-34-85s. They look good. It's a shame because he's got like good equipment and stuff on there. Cast in there. What else we got? I actually paid for these. I didn't pay a whole lot for them, but I did pay it. Here's a Gaz truck body. And a half track here with mortar. But look what I'm dealing with. Look at the finish on the front of the hull here. On the not on the hull, on the hood. It's all beat to shit, you know, like I could paint it, but I don't want to, like, you know, spend a ton of time on it to make it look perfect, because no matter what I do, it's going to look perfect. Here's another gas truck. But I got nice ones from Plastic Soldier Company. Here's this one. Okay, I threw some of my odds and ends from my. One of these trucks comes with the AA gun. Here it is, and here's the AA gun crew. Well, these figures are some tossers right here. A tossing Soviet. You know, they'll actually probably paint okay, but there's some goofy some goofy mothers with a quad Maxim. Anyhow, so all this deep, and I've got another one of these to build. I got an SU one to build. The actual model. So I could do a Panther with no barrel, huh? Okay. Where'd the Comet go? The Comet's in here somewhere. I gotta skip over the Comet. Anyways, this is a Comet all destroyed to hell. But I think most of the pieces are in. I don't like that Sherman. It's missing most of them. That's why I like, that is what that Strelitz armored car is like. Textured like a wargamer's cheek. Strelitz, huh? Wow. Yeah, here. Even these look like ass. Even these look like ass. These are BP cast. This is what? This is not an Easy 8. It's an M4A3 76, but not Easy 8 suspension. These are just. I've painted them, I've given them a wash, but look at the suspension underneath here. Look at see if I can get this in a position you guys can see. Look at the finish here. Or the unfinished there. It's terrible. Now, if I did this like it was, maybe covered this in snow or something like that. Like maybe do this for like, one of the ones that Patton's bringing in and saving the day. What was that one? Was that the 10th Armored? I don't remember which one it was. That actually might be a decent thing to do with it. Is snow cover it, but because it's like it looks like it would have been great if it wasn't so grainy and because they've got equipment and stuff here that make it kind of cool. That mud is jammed up in there, man. Need an anti-mud enema. And then this one as well. Maybe that's what I should do. I should do snow and can practice the snow effects. Anything that looks like it's got a bunch of holes or something in there, that's where the snow sitting on there will be. And we can do a couple of bulge. That'd probably be all right. That'd probably be all right. Oh, what's his face gave me some bulge U.S. infantry and greatcoats. Marcus. I certainly wasn't going to throw them away. I'm just like, yeah, I'm not going to. spent a ton of effort on that. Okay. As we were. I wonder where the comment ended up. New sub. Excellent, man. That's what we need. Let's get up to 3,000. All right. So we were painting we're doing a little drippings on here. Huh. One of the 50s fell off that was on there. Okay. Even the 50s look like trash. Yeah, I don't really know what the story is on the BP cast models. I don't know whether they're models that he made, then he made a casting of them. I'm really not sure what it is, but he's no longer trading. He used to trade at our shows. But he hasn't been one of our shows since we moved from Tampa. That would have been 2006. So, but if you see BP cast stuff, I can't recommend buying it. I was going to buy the snow. Who is it that makes it? Is it Ammo MiG or AK? One of the two. Make like a snow effects set. You know, for the purpose of having standing snow. I may need some of that stuff to cover up some of the ugliness of it. I did see a picture of a diorama recently, and I saved it onto my phone, which means I can't show it to you. It was a diorama of a panther that was knocked out, and it looked like it had caught fire. And what was unique about it is the color that the part where the fire was on was unique colored. It was almost like a oxidized color. So I saved that. So I figured, well, if I ever need to get an idea of what it looks like. You think any of those models have any hope there, Jeffrey? I should just forget about them. BP Cast look to have similar quality to old Frontline with their soap-like resin. I have a Frontline. I have a Frontline M4A4. And I have a Frontline 250/1, SDKFZ 250/1 that I think didn't come with a machine gun. I've got one now. Jose gave me plenty of them, so I'll probably be finishing that up sometime soon. But the Frontline actually, I think, turned out okay. I'd say the Frontline looks a hell of a lot better. But there's still some weird stuff going on, okay? Like, look at this bat. I'm gonna remove the turret. First of all, it's like, hey, can you give me a smaller peg? Look at the back of the hatches. That's the access doors to the engine of the M4A4. It's almost like they made them out of clay or something. Or like they made a mistake and they like tried to like, nothing to see here, like spackle over it. It's just really, really weird. These don't shine up way as good. I love the way the color of these British vehicles turned out. Like it turned out exactly how I wanted it to. And I just followed the Vallejo instructions. It was bronze green and then dry brushed Russian uniform over them. And I think that recommendation nailed it. You know, because it's a much nicer color than the American olive drab. But I have a 250 floating around somewhere. Your broken kits are best used as battlefield scatter wrecks. Like at the beginning of Fury. It was all like wrecks here and wrecks there. I think I could make them look pretty decent. You know, I don't want to just, you know, I'm fine throwing a couple hours of work into them, you know? So I shouldn't be too worried about not having a Panther barrel, huh? Well, I can't cast one. I could get whatchamacallit to 3D print me another one if I order some Panthers, but I don't really need to order anything. I got plenty to do. Although I was looking at those new Panthers that came out by, what's his name? By Kunlan. I said those would be perfect for Kampf Group. I always thought it was Baka, but it's not. It's Beka. B-A with a umlaut K-E. One of those porcelain pocket relief guys. And he commanded a unit of Panthers and Tiger 1s. Tiger 1s from the 503rd and Panthers from the 2nd Battalion of the 23rd Panzer Division. And I say 2nd Battalion because if you remember what I was talking about, all the units in Normandy that had Panthers were all in the 1st Battalion. So they'd have low numbers. They would have 1 through 4s. The 2nd Battalion Panthers, and I looked at the pictures prove it. They're like 700 series Panthers. But I have to do snow camo with those. But I think I'll make them as Rex and not put a barrel on there and see if it's see if that'll work. Baca. He was a dentist or something like that. I always got Baca mixed up with Huba. You know, 4 letters, ends in an E, same time period, but or as we used to call him, Hube. Hube's pocket. No, it's Huba's pocket. This one's together, the top and the bottom. Perfect. So yeah, we literally got home, walked through the door, started painting. Wife was like, "Hey, can we wait to eat?" I'm like, "Okay, I guess I better paint to get my mind off of eating everything." And you know, today is fish face, what I call fish face Friday. Anglicans do that too? I don't know what we're going to eat, but I don't think it's going to be fish. I don't give a shit. I'll eat crackers. Feast on ice cream. All right. Man, we got all our jewelry on and everything, man. We're snazzy. It's snazzy painting today. Well, I'd like to go ahead and get these guys finished since they're already out here. You know, we got our mind on this stuff. But I'd love to do like an SU-85 build. I got two of them from the VS model. And I looked at pictures of them today, and man, there's not a whole lot of inspiration there, you know. Why aren't I trying uniform? This is my uniform. One thing I would not be able to tolerate is work somewhere where you got to wear a uniform. I always feel like that's like for people that don't know how to dress appropriately to where they work. Like somebody's going to show up in the wrong thing, like you got to wear a uniform. I don't want to wear a damn uniform. You got the diva fever, man. Man, if you don't think I'm in a uniform, you should see what the hell Mitch is wearing right now. Hey, come on out here. So, anyways, like I was saying, I found out today that there's going to be a reenactment with like refurb tanks, all World War II stuff, next weekend. So, we're going to film that, including they're going to have guest speaker. Is his first name James? I think his first name is James. James Holland. It's going to be there. Which I have a couple of his books that I've started reading. Brothers in Arms, and what's the other one that I started reading? I think the Normandy one. The Normandy one's really good. The Brothers in Arms is really kind of a small focus on. I want to say it's the Sherwood Rangers. I could be wrong. And I really need to read it with like taking notes and stuff because there's some good juicy bits in there. I started both of his books, didn't finish them, just because something else came along. The problem with getting this Audible subscription is you have to be super proactive to listen, or the next thing you know, you get like other credits. See, the problem is your credits expire. You know, they expire after a year. So I'm like maxed out on credits. I've got to like keep getting books, even though it's just getting me. It's taking me a time to get through them because I'm only listening to them to and from work in the car, and I don't have a long commute. Normally, I'd be listening to them here, but we're doing this with you guys, and that's not a regret. That's I get a lot more done doing it this way than listening to a book. But I'm almost done with that Tunisia book. It's taken me a long time to get through it, and not because it's not interesting, just and they're long. You're talking about like 22 hour books or things like that. I mean, it's not like, oh, it's a 4 hour book. No, no, no. It's long. It's long winded. Only thing I don't. You're currently reading his Sicily 43 book. Yeah, the Normandy one is really good. I mean, it's got a lot of like details. Yeah, so he's supposed to be at this thing. I'll give him a hug for you. I just can't read the physical book. I mean, I just I get distracted too easy, and it puts me to sleep because it's relaxing. It's better than it stressing you out. Is it? It is James, right? James Holland. Isn't there another Holland, or maybe that's Tolland? I don't know. I get them all. I get them all mixed up. Yeah, the one I'm reading right now is the Rick Atkinson's An Army at Dawn. It's pretty American centric, but there's info on the other British units. Like there was an account that I was talking about the other day that we've all seen that picture of that Valentine that's captured that has the I believe the 10th Panzer Division captured it because they put their little bison on the side of it, and then it was knocked out. That picture where like the turret is facing towards the back on it. And there was this incident where it was talking about there was this offensive that the Germans did, and they used this captured Valentine to lead the way. And it was dark, and it got in the middle of the British trenches before they opened fire on them and caused all kinds of chaos. I'm like, man, I'd never heard of that. You also have Brothers in Arms. Yeah, I started reading. The thing I don't like about Brothers in Arms is it's almost like it's almost like it's very specific to these guys, and if I'm not taking notes, I don't see pictures of them. It's kind of hard to remember now. Which guy was this guy? And of course, I'm trying to picture all the battlefield and the action that those guys that particular unit was in Normandy is very close to the ones I painted these guys for in that one scenario in the rules. So I have a vested interest in that. Um, I believe it's the Sherwood Rangers, isn't it? I believe it's the Sherwood Rangers. Yeah, I got his Normandy 44 and Brothers in Arms. And again, I didn't finish them because it's like, oh, I got to use another credit. I'm like, fuck, what do I get? And then I use that and then I read part of it. And, I mean, I finished a lot of books. I mean, I finished like 40 or 50 books. These just happen to be some of the ones that I didn't finish. And then the Atkinson's book rolls right from Sicily into, not rolls from Tunisia into Sicily and Italy. Which the only thing I don't like about Sicily is I just don't think the units I don't think the German units that were in Sicily are very interesting. I'm not a fan of Hermann Goering. I'm not a fan of Hermann Goering anything. What was over there? The two Panzer division was Hermann Goering and 15th Panzer Grenadier, I think. That's kind of a, you know, bummer, but there's got to be stuff on there. I just got to the part of the book where Patton enters. He's going to take command of from Friedendahl. What a fuck up that guy was. Sending orders in code. Nobody could understand him. Yeah, I've read quite a few, but because I can like travel and like listen to them. But I like to listen to a lot of stuff that's really crunchy, and I'm usually not in a place where I can take notes. And audiobooks are terrible, terrible for finding out where you left off. Like I was listening to the book about a month ago, and I get home, and I plug it into the car and it starts playing it automatically. So I get out of the car, come in, I've got my phone. I'm like, let me continue listening to it because it was like at a good part, right? And I play it, and it's not the same part that it was in the car. It's somewhere different. So now I've screwed up the location of where I left the book off, and it took me like 2 days to find exactly where I left off again. It just that's the bad thing about the audiobook is I'm not smart enough to put like a bookmark and be able to do that. Maybe just haven't put any effort into it, but I don't like that part of the audiobook. Everything else is good. I also don't like if you end up getting somebody the narrator sucks, but that's only happened to me maybe twice. Of all the books, only twice have I had a narrator that was terrible. And one of them, unfortunately, is the guy who narrates the Dan Jones Plantagenets book, which is a great book, but the narrator he needs to go away. That narrator was worse than Charlton Griffin, which I really dislike Charlton Griffin. But Charlton Griffin luckily does not do World War II books, so we won't hear from him in a while. But Charlton Griffin narrates almost every ancient everything. He is prolific on Audible for doing things on there. He sounds like some pompous Shakespearean actor. He's some dude from Washington State or whatever. He mispronounces the hell out of everything. That's the problem with it. It's like that's not how you pronounce that. Reminds me of that social studies teacher I had in seventh grade, and he was talking about World War II, and it's like, yeah, the Battle of Tarawa, and I'm like, where the hell is that? Like, how do you mispronounce that? So Dan Jones, if he narrates his own stuff, is good because he makes an effort to pronounce things in other languages. The other problem with Audible, I had to spend ages trying to find my place when taking in Game of Thrones. Yeah, it's just, maybe you're like me. You just don't. It's a problem. It's a problem. It's a problem. I got a lot of things on Audible. You don't use Audible for historicals, only nonfiction. The only fiction. Yeah, I know what you meant. And then I was like going to respond to it. Yeah, I picked up what you meant. The only fiction things I've done on Audible are the two Jurassic Park movies. Movies? No, the two Jurassic Park books, and the Nuclear War, a scenario one. And that's it. That's the only ones that I've read that aren't historical stuff, I think. Oh no, somebody told me to do this historical it was a historical novel, but it's fiction on who was it with? It was a guy that served in Belisarius's army, I think, or one of the Byzantine guys or whatever. And I couldn't get into it. So I pissed away a credit on that. Couldn't get into it. And somehow I have a copy of Dune. Like I was doing stuff, and I'm like, why would I ever even be interested in Dune? First of all, voice weapons? No. Get out of here. I'm not reading Dune. More likely to read Starship Troopers than Dune. I don't want to read that either. There was several years ago, there was this really wise American philosopher that said, ain't nobody got time for that. Philosophator. I watched a couple of things at lunchtime about that Holland did, just to see what he's like, to see if he's worth even listening to. Seems all right. Seems like he's easy to understand. He's got energy. You know, because some people that you might be interested in the subject, but man, they're so damn dry. There's one of these. There's a couple of channels that I subscribe to, and both of them have really good information, but I just can't stomach listening to those two people, and they just bore me to tears. Like they sound like they're bored. And they have good production values. That's not what it is. It's just it doesn't speak to me. Just the way some people are like, what's that guy doing painting tanks? Screw that guy. Well, I can't be everybody's hero. I'm gonna make sure those tanks are painted the right color though next weekend though. I'm gonna be that guy. No, I'm not. But yeah, there was a guy a couple of years ago, and he had a refurbished M18 Hellcat, and he killed himself with a powder charge or something like that. I mean, hey, don't stick your head in front of. I don't think it was a situation like that. I think it was like a bad mix, and it, I don't know exactly what the details, but he died. He died by his own, ammo. Well, they said even with pistol and rifle ammunition, it's danger. You got to be careful what you're doing if you're reloading. Now we're talking about 76 millimeter. Like, that's a bit much. Hey, what's up, Jose? It's your fault I'm working on these. No, we got all kinds of stuff done on these. We cast some little wheels. I took an Eschi model and I made some imprints of wheels. So we're going to do, these are for the 12th Panzer Division, these three. So I tell you what, though, I'm pretty hooked on painting my own decals. I don't know if I'm going to use decals again. It's too much fun to paint them. I got some really destroyed models that I got about a year ago. I went to a hobby show and I had bought some stuff and I should not have bought it because it's not very good. And the guy threw in these destroyed models that I was just showing a few minutes ago. And they're really bad. I mean, they were like poorly made, poorly painted, and somebody's kid got a hold of them and went, and they're just all in pieces. So I think we're going to make wrecks out of them. Your hand painting signs are better than decals. Well, I tell you what, I got the crosses down. I got the crosses down really well. Uh, I don't know if I'm going to do any American stars. That's. I may need to find one that's in a really tight spot where I need to get one, and I'm gonna have to try to paint it and see how I do. But um, yeah, I'm not scared of painting things over Zimmerit. Let's put it that way. Even though I don't have any Zimmerit vehicles. I actually don't like the way Zimmerit looks, but there's things you have to paint because they used them that way, not necessarily because you like them or not. I'm trying to figure out if I did because this is the turret of this one. Aha. Yeah, I literally came in, made a coffee, got the painting. I had a not fun day today. So time to fix it. I had somebody this morning when I came to work. I said, Happy Friday. And I'm like, not for about 10 hours, it isn't. Those are the last ones. Yes, these are the last ones of the Czech 38s. I have two other ones to do that I'm probably not going to do at this time. This is an old Rafum that I have. The finish on this is terrible. It looks like it's diseased. It's got the measles or mumps or both. And it weighs more than it weighs a lot. It's very, very heavy. And then I also have this one from it's a first to fight. And I never finished building it because it's got the antenna on the back and it's very extremely flimsy. But I don't think I'm going to do those next. We're going to knock these guys out, and I'm having a lot of fun with doing things out of green stuff. I'm a noob when I'm talking about doing things out of green stuff. I don't have a lot of experience with it, but I'm learning fast. So those are not yours. That's why they're not getting worked on. Go away. I'm not working on you. Yeah, actually, I liked your half tracks a lot better than the ones that I had that were pre-paints by, I think they're Altaya or Americom. And they just had so much paint already on them. But no, we've enjoyed painting these things. But after I'm done with these, I've got to do the model club that meets every month. The theme next month. So I've got about 28 days, 27 days, something like that. Is a Russian theme, and I'm not going to bring something already built. There's no point in doing that. I've got I'm going to build. I got a couple of SU-85s from S Model to do, and I think I'm going to do them both winter. I think I'm going to do them both winter. Opportunity to get good at something. Now these will have to be on stands because some of these little tracks have a broken section or a broken section here or there, which will totally disappear if it's on a stand. And the rest of my Czech 38s are on stands too, so I'll probably take some time to do that. I'm still not sold on this particular unit not having numbers on the side of the turret. Looks a bit barren, but I think we'll do okay. But there's a reenactment that I found out today that is going to be next weekend, about an hour and a half away from here. And I'm going to go and we're going to film, including there's going to be an author that's going to be there. James Holland is supposed to be there. And they've got, I looked at the list of vehicles. They have several Shermans, an M10, a Hellcat, all like, work in working order. And since I couldn't go to, the tank museum because you Brits decided to put the tank museum literally up Stonehenge's ass, it's so far away from over there. I didn't get a chance to go to that. This will probably be the next best thing. And there's several German vehicles are supposed to be there as well. They got a reproduction. They got some half tracks. They got a Panzer III or something like that. A Stug. And we're going to do a video next week out of that. Wish it was tomorrow because the weather's nicer this weekend than next weekend. It's going to be a little on the hot side next weekend. This is the one in Tampa. I saw a video on Facebook showing the preparation for it. Did think of letting you know. No, it's called Volusia County Fairgrounds. Let's pull it up. Let's see what we got. I just found out about it today. They better be careful because I'm going to make sure their Dunkelgelb is the right color. I don't want people getting away with shit like that. Yeah, that's exactly what I'm going to do. Jose, I'm going to put mud on them. Let's see. This is, let's do this. Let's flip. All right. All right, let's go. Actually, let me do this. Oh, here's the photo link that for the BACA group for 1944. I sent myself the photos. I found them. Upcoming armor display reenactment. Can I not see part of this email? Here we go. World War II Armor.org, Volusia Valor Days event information. All right. I've actually never been to a show that has this stuff. Yes, it's next weekend. Largest public showing of the World War II armor collection of fully operational World War II tanks, artillery, and wheeled vehicles. Florida's largest World War II battle reenactment. Periodic salute fires from tanks and artillery. Yada, yada, yada. And it's free. Free and open to the public. Beware. This event includes tank salute fire demonstrations and World War II battle reenactments. Both will be loud. We'll highly recommend hearing protection. Yeah, I'll bring my shooting range things. Oh, this is good. I didn't know that here it tells me the time. Okay, so 10 a.m. event opens. Tank and artillery fire salute at 11. Tank and artillery fire salute 11:30 a.m. Historian author James Holland talk on the Italian campaign of World War II. Shit, I need to brush up on that. 12:30 historic small arms weapons demonstration. 1:20 World War II tank and vehicle parade. 2 o'clock road to Rome. Anzio 1944 battle reenactment. And then event closes at 4. Okay. In DeLand, which is it's between Orlando and Daytona Beach. Are you going to start reenactment? Oh, hell no. No, this is what I do. What I'm doing is reenacting, painting tanks and moving them around. And here's the location of where it is. Whoa, I didn't want to do that. Let's keep scrolling. Okay. There's a thing here where it lists all the vehicles that are available. Okay, I saw the link to it. Land. Hop on over and visit our collection at worldwar2armor.org. Our collection, get a taste of some of the armored vehicles that will be operating and on display during the event. Let's see what we got here. U.S. Armor. M4A175, M4A3 named Fred. Really? That's the best you can come up with? Fred. What's this one? Gollum and Dov. Way down on the list of things that... Is there more pictures here if we click on this one? Now, why would you do black and white pictures when you have the opportunity of doing something... Like, that's just lazy. I want to see things in color, man. Shmuel. An M4A375 wet stowage. A Pershing. An M10. A Hellcat. A Jackson. And an M4A176 wet stowage. Why is this in black and white? ¿Qué está pasando aquí? This was not in black and white the other day. I don't think it was in black and white. Is the German stuff in color? Yeah, it was. Why is this showing up in black and white? All right, something's going on here. Something queer is afoot. I swear this was in color this morning. Oh, well, it is what it is. You'll see it in color next weekend because I'm going to film it. Some tractors, deuce and a half, long tom. They fire that thing, that'll be loud. A priest, M3A1 half track, a scout car, Meshuggah. That's the name of an M8, an M20. These ambulances, I always thought these were a really good looking vehicle. The lines on them, I really like the way those Dodge ambulances look. Command car. Okay, what do they have? Here this is not an endorsement or support of Nazi party goals. Yeah, of course not. A replica Tiger. Let's got a replica Stug 3G, a 251 replica, an 88. Forrest is a tank with a bona fide movie star status, had a starring role in the HBO series Band of Brothers, where it engaged the British tank column in the episode Replacements. Okay, so it's another one that's used as a T-34 as a base. Okay, this was in color this morning. Replica Stug. It's definitely on something else because this looks like the core base of an M41. An M41 which may be based on a Chaffee, I don't know, but if a Panzer III chassis would have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 wheels on the bottom, not 5. Let's see. Oh, this one's based on a British FV 432. That looks okay at a distance. Oh, number restoration projects. A replica Panther. How the heck are they going to do that? With the inner, weapons, hand weapons, sure. Anyhow, it'll be cool. I don't know why this isn't coming up in color. Photo, video. James Holland. Anyhow, that'll be cool. So we'll do that next weekend. Okay. Let's flip this. Okay. Man, I really did get carried away. I didn't even open my Coke. No, I'm in the wrong shape to do reenactments. Ain't nobody this well fed. There's a model show that I found out about that's happening in Lakeland, I think, in a couple months. And one of the draws that they have there, not for me, but one of the draws they have is they have the 501st Legion. The 501st Legion is a reenactment group that reenact Star Wars things. And they dress up like stormtroopers and they do stuff like at the Disney parks and stuff like that. So I remember when my daughter was little, she was like 4 or 5 years old. I put her on my shoulder and okay, I gotta leave. Say hi to Sandra. I will tell her you came by. I had my daughter on my shoulder watching the Star Wars parade, and here come these stormtroopers. We're waiting forever to see them. It's like 100. It's like 95 degrees or something like that. And you get these stormtroopers, and they're like 400-pound stormtroopers. They made me look anorexic. I'm like, you shouldn't be. You shouldn't be reenacting if that's what you're going to look like. At least reenact something that you have the body type for. Hey, I'm not trying to body shame anybody. I'm just saying that, you kind of need to look like what the part is. So maybe that'll be some cool videos we can film next weekend. And, you know, typical me, I'm not gonna edit them heavily because it creates a lot of work for me. You know, we're not a professional filming thing. I don't have a producer or anything like that. I'm just some dumbass that likes to paint. But I'm glad I saw that because I didn't like, what does it start? Well, there it is. Yeah, so I'm definitely going to be there for 2 to 4. Hopefully we don't get any rain. Anyway, so that's the man, Jose. This is his 3D prints. When I went to Spain, he wanted to meet up. He says, "Hey, I got something for you." And he gave me these things, and least I can do is paint these things up so you can enjoy seeing them. Yeah, it's not like I'm painting something I don't want to paint. It's not like, great, I'm not interested in American Civil War stuff. No, it's like, and I had 3 of these Czech 38s already. Actually, technically 5, because I've got this one that I've just never painted, and the First to Fight one. Now we'll have 5, 11, right? Yeah, 11. Yeah, we're good now. You were good before, you know, but okay, I think this is all of the washing that we need to do. All of the major washing anyways. All right, so what do we do next? Well, if the wash was dry, and I think it's dry enough, we're going to give these a dry brushing of Iraqi sand. Except this one. We've already done that with this one. That's the one that we finished first. So let's get a little bit of Iraqi sand here. The only thing I don't like about this hobby, time goes way too fast. Time just, it's like, it's on light speed. So if you got nothing to do for a while, like, I don't know what I'm going to do, start painting, whatever, time will be gone. It'll be time to go to work in no time. Wolf Chief, welcome, man. That's a cool symbol. I like that. Nothing worse than having a shitty icon. I don't even, what is mine? My stupid face? I think it's my stupid face. Wearing a yellow hat, probably. Better than using somebody else's face. You know, if you go on some profile and it's if you're using somebody's famous face, guaranteed the person doesn't look anything like that famous person. I think this is rugged enough for this. And we're just going to lightly go over this. Oh, we need to put more paint down. The thing with dry brushing, I've noticed, people that want to dry brush are like, hey, I did one pass. How come it didn't turn out well? Well, because you need to, yeah, it's always not enough, not enough, not enough. Too much. Slow and steady wins the race. You know, it's like watercolors. You put too much down, you're doomed. There's no way to undo it. Well, there's a way to undo it. You'd have to redo everything. And who wants to do that? $332 is this one. I only have one of these that has the. No, we got to put a stop to that. There's no reason not to have this one on here. Just highlight a little bit, makes those little rivets pop. There's so much detail on here that it's a good opportunity of just making all those things shine so you can see them at a distance. And we still have the rusty things to do on here. And it looks better in this light is super, super bright. So it makes everything like look faded, even though it may not be. After I'm done with this, I'm gonna go check on the wife and see if it's ready to start the evening stuff, because we'll still be back on tomorrow morning. $11 likes. Appreciate it, guys. If you like this sort of thing, please subscribe. It's very helpful. Very helpful to get the word out. Nothing worse than like spend a lot of time like doing videos like when we were doing for DBA. Like, I didn't know you guys did DBA videos. Really? We got 200 freaking games on there. How do you not know? Just search DBA, on YouTube. I'm sure my stuff's going to come up before anybody else's. We got a lot of games on there. A lot of games, and there won't be any more. Well, there won't be any more that I'll be doing. Let's put it that way. I showed Mitch what he needed to do, but you don't want to do it, I guess. He's not thinking about you guys. Just some gentle. No need in throwing this stuff around. Just a light dusting. But the funny thing is I could actually find my channel real easy if I do a search for my name and put World War II behind it. Doesn't have to be my name and DBA. That's good because we've done enough World War II content. And that one's done. Of course, they all have the numbers on the back of them. Back of the turret, all hand painted. Man, you can't even see that. And it's backwards, sorry. See there, I gotta flip the phone around. I don't know what the hell I'm doing. I'll be right back, folks. Oh, habit. All right, we're back. All right, no, we're going to continue. The show will go on. All right, so the next step, and we still have some what I like to call drippings to do, the rust stains and things like that. We're going to drill out the spot where the antennas are going to go. So let's get our little drill bit out. This shouldn't be too difficult to do. And normally this would have like a little mount. Didn't come with a mount. But you know, they're War Games models. And it doesn't bother me, so we're just going to put an antenna that's going to go there. Just like the other ones. And you want this to go deep enough that it can get kind of a purchase on what's going on here. And actually, the way this is designed, as soon as you punch through this, the fender, that's what we call it, the fender, it ends up hitting the track. So it drops a little bit. In other words, there's something below there to catch the antenna and not just go all the way to the bottom. I heard somebody was referring to these guys as light tanks, and I've never considered the Czech 38 a light tank because it was used as a main battle tank role. It was never used as a light tank. The only time it was ever used as a light tank is some of the later versions were converted to have a 20 millimeter turret on them. I forget what it's called. It's an SDKFZ something or another, but it's basically the bottom of this with like a 234 turret, the turret on like a 234/1. And they didn't make very many of those, but that would be considered a light tank role, but this isn't really a light tank, it's a main battle tank. These went into Barbarossa at the same time that many Panzer IIIs, about a third of the Panzer IIIs that went into Barbarossa were still armed with a 37 millimeter gun. And this 37 millimeter gun is actually more effective than the German one. Reese, welcome. Reese, Raitan? Raitan or Ritan? I'm doing great, man. I'm not working anymore. I'm good. Makes it sound like I just retired. If only. It doesn't quite work that way. All right, we're going to get our little snips here. I'm going to snip 3 of these. Come on, you can do it. I can't believe they had the disclaimer about German shit on that. I mean, I guess that's fine. If you're offended by German tanks at a reenactment thing, I mean, it's not like they're going to be flying a freaking Nazi flag or something like that. All right. And we'll just make the other ones the same size as this one, or close. So really looking forward to that next weekend. That should be something pretty cool. And we'll do a video so you guys can check it out too. Won't do it live though. If I do it live, it'll be had too much background noise, and who knows what the internet connection will be like there. You got 3 of those. Most important thing with using wire. Your last name is weird. Is it? I don't think so. You don't know what a weird last name is. And I'm not saying mine is. I'm just saying there's weird last names out there. All right, man. Thanks for stopping by. Again. The important thing is you need to file these down. Because this is jagged. You'll put this through the dermis on your finger. Almost like if a bee stung you. You don't really want to do that. No, your last name is not weird, man. There's some weird ass last names out there. My wife was telling me somebody that she knew, they had a wedding, and one last name of one of the people was Nut, and the other last name was Butts. So it was like Nut Butts. Like, yeah, that would be bad. Silly ass shit. Sorry, I can't marry you. Why? You have a dumbass freaking name. It's even dumber than mine, you know? Raitan. It sounds like a kaiju. Look out, it's Raitan. You know. No? Yes? I know he's not on here anymore, but it sounds like. Named after a kaiju. That's pretty cool. Of all the antennas I've done on every vehicle I've done, these have been the most user-friendly. I don't know what it is about it, but I never have to mind them. Other ones I'm constantly like adjusting. That's not it. That's not it. That's not it. These are like, they stay where you want them to. As I adjust them. Things are always misbehaving when you don't want them to. All right, so while that dries, we're going to figure out what we're going to put accoutrement on here. Let's take, there it is. I got one of these over here. Let's wipe this up. All right, so we got these 3. We can't paint the antenna black just yet. We don't want to get too close to that super glue. We'll ruin a brush. They're not expensive brushes, but that's just being stupid and wasteful. So let's look at what accessories we have to put on these particular vehicles. Now, one of these over here has the toolkit on it. And I got another toolkit here. It's going to cover some of the number if I do that, which isn't the end of the world. But I'd almost rather put one of these yoga mats or something like that. I call these things yoga mats. Yeah, so I like that there. One of these is folded out like so. This literally looks like a sleeping bag. Like somebody's been sleeping on my bed and it's still there. That wheel's actually all beat. That cast didn't come out great. You get all this stuff in position how you want it before you start gluing things down. We got a vision slot there. We don't want to cover that up. And unfortunately, it's in green, so you have to kind of like get that out of your mind that there's something green here, because it is distracting. Mentally distracting. That one's garbage. That one has no value. That was a miscast. All right, I'll be right back. I got to go to the little boy's room. I'll be right back in a jiffy. Okay. So this is starting to look pretty reasonable. Starting to look pretty reasonable. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with this big nasty right here, the command one. And we need to make some modifications to this so it looks like it's more believable. So what we're going to do is I'm going to put 3 wire tie downs, the same way we did this. You know, you got this big piece on here. Well, that's got to be tied down. So we're going to do 3 on this one. This one's even bigger than that one. So how we're going to do that is we're going to get our X-Acto knife and we're going to get our copper wire. And we're going to put one kind of in the middle. What we're going to do is we're going to put a cut into this. Because we're going to wrap this wire around it so that it looks like it's holding this. But we want it to stay in place. So what we're going to do is we're going to come in and we're going to dig into it a little bit. Okay. Let's just do the same thing all the way around. Basically a little channel where that's going to sit in. And we're going to connect the two bottom sides. And we're actually going to make the channel kind of deep in the bottom. And the reason for that is because we're going to have to tie it together and then hide something in there. So we want this to kind of be deep in there. We're going to hide it. Now, let's make sure that this fits in there, because there's no point in going through all that effort. It doesn't fit. So let's find out where the end of the wire is. And something about that wide. You just got to make sure it fits in that wire. I'm going to hold it down while I go to the opposite side. I've done this a few times and I feel like I get better at this every time I do it. So, yow. Let's not pull, let's not draw blood on camera. I'm going to twist and tighten this as we go. Okay, so we don't want to glue this down. We want to just look like it's crimped on there. And then what we're going to do is we're going to cut the end off. And then we're going to tuck this into this deeper hole. And that's what it looks like. We tucked it in. So we go and epoxy this. It basically lays flat. And there's probably better videos online on how to do this. I kind of pulled this one out of my ass, you know. We do the same thing. We're just going to roll this, go all the way around. The screen stuff's really cool. Now, a normal person would say, well, why don't you just go ahead and tie this on while this is soft? Man, this stuff's hard to work with on your fingers. Like, you need to just like call it a win and get it off your hands and let it dry. It's great now, but you know, you're constantly like sticking it on different. It's like a problem if you're not paying attention to it. So here, I got all the time in the world to work on it here. Gonna go all the way around. Cut that deep divot on the back. And just enough that there is a little bit of a channel there for when I crimp this, it's not wanting to slide backwards and forwards. Because then I have to glue it. And the first one I did, I glued it. It was pain in the ass to glue it. Okay, so we're going to take another piece of wire, see if I can kind of gauge it and make it not as long, not be so wasteful. I mean, this stuff comes in 30 yards, 90 feet of this stuff, but still. And put it in that channel, wrap it around. All the way to the back side. Get it as tight as you can. Start twisting. And I guess you could like make these thin little ties out of green stuff, but man, I'm in my infancy of green stuff. And I'm just doing 3 on here just so it looks different than the other one that has 2. Just for variety. Welcome, folks. Happy Friday. Now it's Friday. It's a really interesting material when it dries. And this may seem tedious, but if you do it right, you don't have to do it one time. You have to do it all if you don't want to. Now, I got lots of tanks that don't have any things on them. Any personal items. Only thing I wish is this copper wire was like black instead of copper colored. It just makes priming it a little easier. Just a little easier. we're just going to tuck this in here. You want to use this because it is sharp. Anything that's metal that you cut with like a pair of clippers, you can't see, but it'll gouge you. Okay, so that's going to sit like that, like it's being tied down. Now, same thing with this little guy that's being rolled on there. I'm going to put one tie in here. Well, there's already, looks like there's a crimp there. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to follow this to the back. And these things that are kind of irregular shaped works a lot better to use epoxy to glue them. Let's see if we can use the spare. It's getting darker and darker later and later. That's good. Nothing worse than coming home from work and like lights out. Okay, so that one's good to go. Now here, I'm not going to put a crimp on this little one. This one doesn't need a crimp either. I'm just going to put a crimp on this one, which looks like there's already like 2 little notches on there. So we're just going to follow these to the back. Let's try using this end, see what happens. What happens if we use this end? Well, it's a bit hard, so that's not working too well. That piece was a little small to deal with. It was a bit finicky. A good thing about epoxy is you never have to worry about it again. It's glued and stays glued. get that where we want it. And then tuck that in. Okay, we'll do the same on the other end. Oh, it's late in England. Like, where's my English people at? I have to do coke to stay awake. I was taking a look at something and I'm like, man, I should get that on the what is it called? The Steam sale. I remember I looked at it and I was like, man, that's really pretty cheap. What's it called? Steel Division 2. But I have a sneaky suspicion that's the kind of game that I'm not going to like. I think it's going to be rushed and interrupted a little too much. The pace of it's just a little too fast, I have a feeling. Perfect. Now, what was this one was here. This one was there like that. All right. So we're going to mix up some epoxy. And we're going to glue these pieces. No, I don't want to lose my spot where things are at. We'll glue these pieces down. So for that, I have one of these I use for epoxy. And if you ever want to mix epoxy, use one of these needles because they're easy to clean and reuse. You just chip the old epoxy off of it and it's good to go. All right. Let's not get too carried away by mixing too much of it up. Sometimes you got to hustle a little too fast. Sometimes I wish it was 10-minute epoxy, not 5-minute epoxy. Before we mix it up, let's make sure we don't have any. Sometimes outside of that bottle it gets a little sticky. Very little, but still some. And now the chemical reaction is going to town here. Let's move all of the things that are not the unchosens out of the way. All right. Let's start off with a big one. Let's move the turret out of the way. here. Need a little bit more than that. Okay, that one's done. Next one. One little dot in the middle. One little bit like that. And the last one. Okay, so here is the stuff that's going to be on these Panzer 38s. And this is where we're going to stop because we need this stuff to cure. It just dries pretty quick, but I haven't even had dinner or anything. It's almost 8 o'clock at night. So, all right, folks. Well, we'll see you guys back. Oh, shit. I forgot to add this one to it. I'm good without it. We'll see you guys back tomorrow morning. Standard Saturday time, bright and early. And we'll catch you next time. Happy modeling, folks. Bye-bye.